Manchester United took a big leap of faith and extended Erik Ten Hag's contract about 2 weeks ago, and I'm very on board with this decision taken by the higher-ups at United. Yes, Ten Hag finished 8th last season in the Premier League, which just isn't good enough. It's a pitiful return compared to the season prior when Ten Hag and United finished 3rd. However, with him finishing the season off with an FA Cup, beating Man City in the final, it made me and a lot of other people think that Man United could still be better under Ten Hag, and he has been a very good manager overall for the club. And Manchester United have already been getting busy in the transfer window, looking to sign 2 Dutch players, one of which being De Ligt from Bayern Munich, who I may make a video about in the upcoming days. But one potential transfer that is looking very certain to happen, and I want to focus on in this video, is the prospect of Joshua Zirkzee joining Manchester United from Bologna for a fee around 40 million euros. And this transfer may have got a lot of people confused. Why would Manchester United go for Zirkzee when they have Rasmus Hojlund, who United have spent so much money on and have put a lot of resources in? And I mean, Rasmus Hojlund had a really good first season, all things considered. Well, to me, believe it or not, this signing of Joshua Zirkzee to Man United is actually perfect for Ten Hag and United, and if anything, it may actually help Rasmus Hojlund's game out more than you think. But why do I think this? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. In 2016, Zirkzee left Feyenoord's academy to join Bayern Munich, and I remember hearing about Joshua Zirkzee in 2019 being told that he's the next big striker after making his debut at Spurs in the last game of the group stage in the Champions League. And just a week after his debut, he made his Bundesliga debut, coming on against Freiburg with the game tied 1-1. He scored the winner just seconds after coming on, and just days after that, he came off the bench against Wolfsburg to score the winner yet again, and the hype around Zirkzee was at an all-time high. Seeing Zirkzee finish off his debut professional season with Bayern Munich with a treble. But after that season, he struggled to break through at Bayern Munich again, seeing failed loans to Parma and Anderlecht before joining Bologna on a permanent deal in 2022 for 8.5 million euros. And that's when I pretty much counted out Zirkzee. After the failed loans, I thought, yeah, he's going to be a failed wonder kid. But in this previous season in Bologna, well, Zirkzee has reignited the hype around him, and I mean, rightfully so. Now, if you look at Zirkzee's numbers over the past season with Bologna, playing 37 games in all competitions, scoring 12 goals and getting 7 assists, objectively a really good season for a 23-year-old player in a top 5 league. So if you were to strictly look at his stats, it would lead you to think that Zirkzee is a very talented striker that is a clinical number 9, but Zirkzee is just not a typical number 9. He's not at all a poacher in the box. He doesn't attack the channels quite as much as someone like Hojlund does, and overall Zirkzee, in my eyes, is essentially a false number 9 mixed with an attacking midfielder. Zirkzee is very good at dropping deep and holding up the ball for his team with some really good ball control and a decent amount of strength. He doesn't often miscontrol the ball when he's holding up the ball for his team, but Zirkzee is also equally just as good at dropping deep and turning his defender, running into space, playing in the wingers, or playing in other midfielders that have bombed forward. Now, Zirkzee isn't extremely quick, but Zirkzee is a very, very good dribbler, especially with the fact that he is 6'4", making him very tall, yet still very light, very balanced, and very agile with his feet. And because Zirkzee is so good technically on the ball, this allows him to not often get dispossessed by other defenders when dropping deep into tight areas. Zirkzee is also very good at arriving late into the box to score when the ball is out wide, oftentimes arriving at the penalty spot for a cutback. Zirkzee is also a surprisingly good passer, which again helps him be so efficient and so effective as a false 9 or attacking midfielder in the build-up when he drops deep. Now, the downside to Zirkzee's game, despite him being 6'4", Zirkzee desperately needs to improve his header in, having yet to score a professional goal with his head, and despite putting up some really good numbers last season, Zirkzee also desperately needs to improve his finishing, oftentimes being very tame with his finishes, and his long shots barely ever getting any airtime and just staying on the grass. But honestly, looking at his game, to me, Zirkzee is more of an attacking midfielder or a second striker that plays as a striker for Bologna. So if you are thinking that Zirkzee is going to come in and take Hojlund's spot as your main target man, number 9, the guy looking to get in behind the defense, well then that's just not Zirkzee's game. But this is why I think Zirkzee is a perfect sign-in for Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United. And this is also another reason that when Arsenal were linked to him, I didn't necessarily like the fit as an Arsenal fan, being that we need more of an out-and-out number 9, someone who's going to get in behind the lines, as opposed to another false 9 that we have in someone like Kai Havertz. Not that Havertz and Zirkzee play all that much alike. The way Zirkzee plays, if he is chosen as the main striker for Manchester United, it will allow United's wingers to get a lot more chances, being that when Zirkzee will drop deep, the centre-backs may come with him, which will allow the wingers to come more centrally, and Zirkzee could then play them in behind the lines. Zirkzee will also allow Manchester United with Bruno to have possession much higher up on the field, being that Bruno and Zirkzee are such solid players on the ball in the final third, with Zirkzee's decision making being pretty impressive as well. But for me, Zirkzee's best fit in this United team, and why I think this is actually a perfect signing for Manchester United, is that when Zirkzee is selected alongside Rasmus Hojlund, I think that will be absolutely perfect. That, of course, will mean that Bruno will most likely have to play in central midfield, a lot deeper than we're used to seeing him, with Kobbie Mainoo, which I don't think it's actually a bad option at all. Or when Zirkzee gets selected alongside Hojlund, I think that would mean that Bruno would have to go on the bench, which I think is a worse option. Obviously, me preferring to see Bruno with Kobbie in central midfield, and then you allow Zirkzee and Hojlund up front. Zirkzee alongside Hojlund would work so well. Zirkzee will be dropping deep, constantly feeding Hojlund into the channels, or he'll be working deep with Bruno or Kobbie to open up the game as a whole. And Zirkzee alongside Hojlund also will hide Zirkzee's weaker points in his game, like his head-in and his lackluster finishing, being that Rasmus Hojlund is such a good finisher, and Rasmus Hojlund is a really good header of the ball. It'll allow Zirkzee to kind of hide his weaker points. And a huge issue that Manchester United had the whole of last season was their failure to provide Rasmus Hojlund with the ball enough. Oftentimes, the wingers were passing back more than they were looking to play into Rasmus Hojlund, and oftentimes Rasmus Hojlund was standing for 80 minutes, 90 minutes of the game as a lonely figure with not all that much success, with basically no one, maybe outside of Bruno and Kobbie at times, feeding in Rasmus Hojlund. And I truly believe that with Zirkzee being on the field and being such a good link-up player, that it will help United allow their wingers to slightly get more central. It'll allow Rasmus Hojlund to make runs in behind the defense, and he'll actually get the ball this time. So although Zirkzee definitely has his weaknesses, I truly believe that at Manchester United, he will be able to play a lot more to his strengths alongside guys like Garnacho, Bruno and Hojlund than he would if he moved to a team like Arsenal. And for United to get him for the rumored price tag of just 40 million euros for a 23-year-old that has put up the numbers that he did at Bologna, that can make the impact that I expect him to make at Manchester United, that will allow someone like Rasmus Hojlund to be at his best, I think it's an insane bang for your buck. And if Manchester United can still add players like De Ligt into their team, well then I'm really starting to like the shape that this Manchester United team is taking, and I can start seeing the vision from Erik Ten Hag. Still a long way to go, still don't know if it's going to work out perfectly, but regardless, I truly believe that everything mentioned, if you look at everything, if you look at how Manchester United play, I truly believe that Joshua Zirkzee is not only a bang for your buck signing, but I truly believe that he will be a success at Manchester United.